girls. Welcome to another 5-Minute Stories. I'm Miss Ashley, the youth librarian at the Port Charlotte Public Library. And since we are in my favorite month, October, which is all Halloween and pumpkins and cinnamon spice and everything nice, I am going to tell you one of my favorite Halloween stories. It's called Too Noisy. And it starts just like this. Once upon a time, there was a little spider who lived in a haunted house that she thought was too noisy. Oh my goodness, do you know why she thought it was too noisy? It was haunted by 3 ghosts, a whole family of them. And the daddy ghost would groan, whoa, and the mama ghost would moan, whoa, and the baby ghost would cry, boo, boo, boo. And the little spider said, oh, my haunted house is so noisy. I need some help. I'll go to the wise old owl. He'll know what to do. And so she left her house and she crawled to the wise old owl's tree. Let's get our hands going. Creepy crawl, creepy crawl, creepy crawl. And when she got to the wise old owl's tree, she called out, Mr. Wise Old Owl, my haunted house is too noisy. What can I do? And the wise old owl looked down from his perch and he said, go back and put some bats in the house. And the little spider did exactly what he told her to do. She crawled back, creepy crawl, creepy crawl, creepy crawl, and she hung some bats upside down from the rafters in the attic. And as soon as she did that, the bats started to screech, "Ay, ay, 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 ay." And the daddy ghost groaned, whoa, and the mama ghost moaned, whoa, and the baby ghost cried, boo, boo, boo. And the little spider said, oh, my haunted house is really noisy. I'll go back to the wise old owl. He'll know what to do. And she crawled back to the wise old owl's tree. Creepy crawl, creepy crawl, creepy crawl. And when she got back to the tree, she said, Mr. Wise Old Owl, my haunted house is still noisy. And the wise old owl looked down from his perch and he said, go back and put some black cats in the house. And the little spider said, okay, you're the wise old owl. And she went back to her house, creepy crawl, creepy crawl, creepy crawl. And she let some cats into the living room. And the cats immediately started yowling, meow, meow, meow. And the bats started shrieking, ee, 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 ee. And the daddy ghost groaned, oh. And the mama ghost moaned, woo. And the baby ghost cried, boo, boo, boo. And the little spider said, oh, my haunted house is so noisy. And she went back to the wise old owl's tree once again. Creepy crawl, creepy crawl, creepy crawl. And when she got to the wise old owl's tree, she called up, Mr. Wise Old Owl, my haunted house is still very noisy. Is there anything else I can do? And the wise old owl hooted, go back and put some witches in the house. And the little spider said, oh, witches, are you sure? And the big owl, he smiled and he said, mm-hmm. And so the spider said, okay, you're the wise old owl. You know what you're doing. Creepy crawl, creepy crawl, creepy crawl. Back to her house, and she let some witches into the kitchen. She gave them a big cauldron for a brew, and they all went, ee, and they started brewing. And the cats were yowling, meow, meow. And the bats were screeching, ee, 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 ee. And the daddy ghost groaned, whoa. And the mama ghost groaned, whoa. And the baby ghost cried, boo, boo, boo. And the little spider said, oh, my haunted house is too noisy. I can't hear myself think. And so she crawled back to the wise old owl's tree, creepy crawl, creepy crawl, creepy crawl. And when she got to the tree, she called up, Mr. Wise Old Owl, my haunted house is just too noisy. I tried all the things you told me to do and they didn't work. What do I do now? And the wise old owl said, go back and take out the witches and take out the black cats and take out the bats. And the little spider was so excited, she immediately crawled back, creepy crawl, creepy crawl, creepy crawl, creepy crawl. And she opened the doors and she sent the witches on their ways. And she sent the black cats back to their trees. Meow, meow. And she sent the bats out to their caves. Ee, 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 ee. But the daddy ghost still groaned, whoa. And the mama ghost still moaned, whoa. And the baby ghost still cried, boo, boo, boo. And you know what the little spider said? Ah, My haunted house sounds just right. And that's the end of the story. Isn't that cute? You can't have a haunted house without ghosts, right? And the spider realized that she had just the right amount of haunting with those 3 ghosts when she had to add all those other things. So I think that that wise old owl was very wise indeed. Join us next time. Happy Halloween!